sense out of any adaptation I have ever watched. I'm going to be okay. So there are things that like I'm gonna make comments about that are changes, but like, holy moly, this is gonna be a hard 2 episodes, everyone, because I think Ankit and I stumbled on the perfect adaptation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flip the Scripts and Adaptations podcast. My name is Ankit Madhira,
And I'm Stephen Nieman.
and we are here and we are talking about a new book. And personally, one of my favorite books. I just really like this book. I think it's a great story. I love this movie. Again, I think it's a great story. We are talking about Holes by Louis Sachar. Sachar? I don't actually know how to pronounce his last name. By Louis.
I think it's Sachar because like it's definitely, I mean, like, yeah, Sachar. Yeah, I think Sachar sounds weird. I think it sounds too French.
Sachar sounds weird. It might be Sachar.
I don't think he's French.
No. Anyway, he wrote this book, and it is a very fun story and a very fun film.
Yeah.
Have you've read this before, Stephen?
I thought I read Holes when I was little. I didn't remember it. Reading the book, I was like, oh yeah, that happens. I think I watched the movie a lot when I was a kid because I really like Shia LaBeouf. I think for my bar mitzvah when I turned 13, I got 2 movies.
And you made everyone dig a hole.
No, they both they both starred Shia LaBeouf, and I don't know why, but the 2 movies I picked to get with my bar mitzvah money, because you get a lot of money for bar mitzvah stuff. People also give me Best Buy gift cards, so I was like, let's go use them all, and because you just don't let Best Buy gift cards sit around.
Right.
And then also I got Barnes and Noble gift cards, which like the Barnes and Noble gift cards were like really clutch. But I went to Best Buy and I got 2 movies with a couple video games as well. I got The Greatest Game Ever Played.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
I love that movie. It's actually one of my favorite movies. Even though I don't play golf, I like that movie.
It is still a good movie.
I wonder if it's an adaptation.
I don't think so, but I know it's a true story about golf.
Yeah, could be an adaptation.
Could be. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Blindside's an adaptation, but although it's just a true story, it's based on somebody's life, biography. But I mean, don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole recently.
Woo!
But yeah, no. I think I read Holes when I was little, probably in 3rd grade.
Yeah, I read it. I definitely read it in elementary school. I definitely watched the movie more than I read the book. Definitely watched the movie more. Loved the movie, and I just like that song is like implemented into my brain.
Oh, the dig 'em.
Oh yeah, dig it up on dig it. Yeah, that one is just cemented into my brain because we would play it all the time.
So I think when I was in 4th grade, my mom got a new van. And we used to because we used to have to go down below a lot to visit my grandmother, or because she had to work, and so my grandmother would watch us. And it was the first ever van to have a DVD player. Now,
and you watched Holes all the time.
As a kid, that is the most exciting thing in the world,
When
you're especially on the long road trips. I remember going to Vegas, and my sister and I would literally grab a stack of films to watch there and the way back, and we would count hours.
Yeah, I would do the same. I would pack my GameCube because I could plug that into the car.
So my brother and I did a trip once where we played Super Smash Bros. Melee. Together. We did so many fights and so many hours of gameplay. We unlocked Mewtwo. Which was you needed the most hours, the most gameplay to unlock, because in that game, at least. It was fun. But yeah, nice. Holes I've watched, it's a classic. I've watched it many times. It was nice revisiting. I haven't seen it in years.
I haven't seen it in a while. It has been a while since I've watched it, for sure. All right, let's jump into some fun facts for those of you that are new around here. Welcome. We start the episodes. Our episodes are always split into two for each film that we do, and in the first episode, I always do facts about the book and the film. So, facts about the book. Holes
Ankit,
is
fun fact time.
woo woo. All right.
I don't know why I went total Blue's Clues there. I think I tried that before, and we still don't have like a theme song for your Ankit fun fact time.
No, we don't. We should come up with one, but that sounds like a
I mean,
lot.
you're the music writer, so.
I am the music writer, and currently my brain is trying to understand why a rhythm isn't working. It's going great. So anyway, Holes the novel is a 1998 young adult novel written by Louis Sachar and was first published by Farrar, Straus, and Giroux. Lovely times. Yeah. Stephen will go over the entire explanation of the plot and a basic plot summary, but it was adapted and it was very successful, and it is now also required reading in most elementary schools.
That makes sense. I like that.
In most elementary schools. I definitely had to read this one in elementary school, and I do know that. It won a whole lot of awards. And by a whole lot, I mean, like, I can't fit them all on the same page without zooming out.
Yeah.
Oh, no, technically I can, but it fits up my entire webpage.
It won a Pulitzer?
No, but it did win the John Newbery Medal.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't think it won the Pulitzer. It doesn't say... No Pulitzer. Okay. Yeah, edit that little bit out. It did win the John Newbery Medal, and it won about 20 other awards throughout, including, in 1998, the U.S. National Book Award for Young People's Literature. So it was a very, very successful book and a very fun story. Now, the film, it got an adaptation 5 years after it came out as a book, and in 2003, it was created into, what would you classify this film, Stephen, out of curiosity?
A comedic drama.
Okay, so you are exactly right, but they've also added neo-Western.
I mean, Disney, like, literally, like, when you click on it on Disney, it says drama. I never saw this movie as a drama, but I realized, like, how dramatic this movie is after watching it as an adult. I'm like, wow, I totally did not get this point as a kid.
Yeah. So huge implications. Now, it was directed by Andrew Davis, and Stephen, I have some bad news for you.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to complain as much.
Oh, because the writer was on the writing staff.
He's the only writer credited.
So, okay. Spoiler alert. This makes the most sense out of any adaptation I have ever watched. I'm going to be okay. So there are things that, like, I'm gonna make comments about that are changes, but, like, holy moly, this is gonna be a hard 2 episodes, everyone, because I think Ankit and I stumbled on the perfect adaptation.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have joined us for the first time, welcome. Spoiler alert, we probably aren't usually this positive. If you're back, oh boy, strap in, because you're in for a treat.
Well, there are some things that I will make complaints about, but the fact that he is the writer does put a bottle on some things, but I feel like they're worth talking about.
Look, they're worth talking about.
Because the changes are still there, and we're going to talk about whether the change is necessary, and that's a good conversation still to have.
Look, I just said that this is going to be the most positive that we have probably ever been. Doesn't mean that we don't have negativity or things to comment about or things that we just, we're like, that was an interesting choice.
If we had to compare this to, I don't know, any of the Hunger Games movies we did, by the way, link probably somewhere in the description below, or just click on our YouTube channel and find the Hunger Games.
Or there's a little link
and if
somewhere. Yeah.
If you go to Songbird and Snakes specifically, or you know what? Let's just take last week where we did Anyone But You. Usually, I get really frustrated with major changes. This is a movie where the major changes don't actually exist. And I think that that's fantastic. And we're going to talk about that
We're gonna talk about it.
when we get there. But
For
keep going
sure.
on the fun fact time. Let's talk about ratings.
Keep going. Ratings on IMDb, it is rated a 7 out of 10 with
Really?
104,000 ratings.
Only a 7?
It is rated a 7 out of 10.
That's a shame. This movie's way better than some of the other movies. The fact that I think Anyone But You got a somewhat, like an 8?
I think it does have better than that. Let me check real quick. I don't remember off the top of my head. Anyone But You is a 6.1. So like
Okay,
it's
at
not
least
it's not
better than that one. I'll give. But Anyone But You is way worse.
If anyone wants to know why Steven is traumatized, go listen to the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for 2 weeks from now, so that'll be fun. We'll talk
Beautiful. We'll talk about that
week.
next week. Now, IMDb, it is a 70%. On Rotten Tomatoes, what do you think the tomato meter? So the critics, what do you think the critics have named it?
80% fresh.
Very close, 78% fresh. And the popcorn
Oh.
meter is at a 76% fresh.
Really? Only the 70s? I feel like this movie is like in the 80s or 90s at least.
Apparently, people just really don't like this film.
Why?
Dude, I don't know. Let's get into. Oh wait, one last fun fact. They spent some money on this film.
They did.
Yeah, they spent about 17 million US dollars on this film.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I will tell you this: they did make their money back. Do you have a guess of their box office?
Let's say 32 million, because Shia LaBeouf was like bringing in numbers back in the day.
71.4 million.
Hey, not bad.
And it was produced by Disney, and really, it took off on Disney Channel. It was really popular as a film in theaters as well, but like it was especially in the early 2000s, and like we had Disney on and off, but it was always on repeat.
Well,
like
I think,
reruns were always happening of this movie.
That movie, Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off,
High School Musical in a couple years.
Angels in the Outfield?
Yeah, which I haven't seen.
Oh, you gotta watch Angels in the Outfield. It's amazing. I mean, I'm a big baseball fan, so like. Yeah.
Cool. I'll add it to the post finale list now that the Notebook is off of it. I can add that.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Well, I mean, by the time that this episode comes out, the episodes of the Notebook will be out.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, fair. So another thing, fun fact that Ankit hasn't mentioned. So as of like a couple days ago, Ankit sent me a message. They have announced a new version of Holes coming to Disney Plus as a TV show, a new adaptation. Ankit and I are a little weird about it. Number one, because this adaptation is like
not needed.
One of the best adaptations. Like, if the adaptation for this book to movie was bad, then yeah, remake it.
If this was the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, sure.
But so they're redoing it, but this time they're gender bending the entire cast, is what I'm understanding.
Yes.
So it'll be a female version of Holes.
We'll get more into that in next week's episode, but for once, the recording curse didn't affect us. And this news actually came out a couple days after we decided to postpone the recording, so it worked out.
Okay, so what is Holes about? I'm going to give you a little summary. So Holes is about this fat middle schooler named Stanley Yelnats the fourth. And he kind of has a bunch of bad luck. It always gets blamed on his pig-stealing great-great-great-great-grandfather.
No good, dirty, rotten, pig-stealing great-great-grandfather. If you're going to say it right.
Thank you, sir. I think there's one more great in there, though.
Oh, is it great-great-great-grandfather? Oh no, I might have messed up too.
Well, because it was Elia Yelnats,
Oh, you
then
are right.
Stanley
It is
Yelnats the
great. It
first,
is. It is great, great,
Stanley
great.
Yelnats the second, Stanley Yelnats the third, Stanley Yelnats the fourth.
So close.
So
Okay.
Stanley Yelnats the fourth has a lot of bad luck. So he's walking home one day from school. Some shoes fall in the sky. He picks them up and goes, "Ooh, cool shoes! My dad likes to work on shoes." So he goes to take them home. He gets arrested. Gets accused of stealing the shoes from a baseball player, which we'll talk more about when we get more into the adaptation. And gets sent to a camp. Either he'll go to jail or juvie, because they don't get sent to jail as middle schoolers, but maybe in this world they do. Or he gets to go to a camp where he has to dig holes. Hence the term
Holes.
tidal holes. So he goes there and starts digging holes. He meets a bunch of cool people. Hilarity happens, and he becomes a millionaire by the end of the book.
Yeah, it's a good time.
It's a really good time. This is a great coming of age story.
Yeah.
I think Shia LaBeouf does a good job. I can understand why some people might not enjoy the movie.
I don't. It's good.
I like the movie, but I can
If
understand
you
why
don't
some
like this
people.
movie, let me know why. Because objectively, it's a very good film.
Maybe because it was too close to I don't know. Maybe because they could just read the book. Okay, so we're gonna hop into the meat of our podcast, the adaptation, everyone. All right, so the movie starts out focusing on Barf Bag. Who is Barf Bag? Well, we're about to find out who Barf Bag is. Barf Bag is a camper at the camp with the holes, so we're starting in the camp. So we don't start with Stanley Yelnats the fourth like we do in the book. We just start with Barf Bag. Barf Bag gets up, takes off his sock, and gets bit by a rattlesnake. That's literally the first minute of the film.
Well, he steps on the rattlesnake.
Doesn't really step on it. He just gets close to it.
Oh, that is true. It lunges at him. Anyway,
Lunges
Barf
at him.
Bag in the hospital.
So Barf Bag is the camper that was there that opened up the slot for Stanley Yelnats the fourth to be sent to the camp. Barf Bag is talked about in the book. You never see him. But instead of talking about Barf Bag, they show Barf Bag. So I think it's good.
I appreciate that. They just started off, and it lets us know from the get-go that hey, this camp not to be trifled with.
So we cut to shoes falling on Stanley.
Perfect.
There's an issue with these shoes. This is one of the main issues I have with the movie, and if it's the only issue I have with this adaptation, maybe it's a good adaptation. But they're cleats, not sneakers.
Yes.
They're also adult-sized cleats.
Yes.
Sneakers. So in the book, they are specifically sneakers. They are small sneakers because they fit on Zero's feet.
They never say that they fit.
He does.
They say he wears them.
Okay.
He never says that they fit. So they could be because they're his World Series cleats.
Fair. I thought Sweet Feet just had small feet.
He might,
yeah,
right?
But they're not. I get they're called the words. Well, I guess it makes sense world-wise because in the World Series you would wear cleats.
Yeah, right. So they're his World Series cleats, so they should be cleats.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they called them sneakers in the book. It does throw me off, but maybe I don't know if they call the cleats sneakers or if they just called them his shoes. And I don't know if they ever called the cleats sneakers or if they just call them shoes, and the only time they mention sneakers is when it's all the other shoes.
I think they call it shoes in the book, but
I'm pretty sure they just called them Sweet Feet's shoes.
Here's the biggest adaptation change for everyone who reads the book and watches the film. Stanley Yelnats, who's played by Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is not fat, everyone. He's never been fat. He's not a fat kid. Now this is a really interesting conversation Ankit and I can have about this, where obviously Stanley loses weight while he's at the camp and actually loses a significant amount of weight at the camp.
He gets in shape by the end of the book.
Probably does get to the shape of Shia LaBeouf by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Now, that would be kind of hard to do with a kid to have him be fat and then get him smaller. Now, you could CGI it. There are ways you can give him a fat
This was
suit.
also 2003.
Yeah, we can give him a fat suit. Fat suits were around. Nutty Professor came out before this, I feel like. So
Sure, probably. I don't know.
yeah.
I remember watching a little bit of the Nutty Professor. My parents didn't like it. I didn't really like it, and then we just turned it
That's
off.
fair. I just feel like one of the things for me about this book that makes the book stand out to me is the main character isn't a skinny, beautiful person. Like, because I was a fat middle school kid, so like I think when I read it, it made me feel like I felt like Stanley. So there was something like to attach to it where it's like, oh wow, like I feel for that. Like
Yeah.
he in the book he's made fun of for his weight, especially by people out of school. I think like his bully's name is like Duke Devlin or something like that.
Something like
Double
that.
D's. He's not in the book at all. Not talked about in the film at all, by the way. But you don't really get to see Stanley's school life. Like his teachers are mean to him about his weight as well. But it's nice, like one of the things he overcomes in the book, because this is a coming of age story. Really, that's what it boils down to, is the fact that he's lost all this weight. And I think it's such an interesting component of the book. And I hate the fact they took it out of the film. I understand why. I just don't like it.
That's fair. And this is what I'll say to that. I get it. And it would have been really cool to see that. But also at the same time, for all the reasons that you just laid out, I get it.
Yeah. No,
my
I'm
second thing here.
understanding.
Yeah. Like we're not complaining because like here's the other thing is other than him not being chubby, Shia LaBeouf plays the heck out of this role.
And the other funny thing is, Shia. I think this is Shia's like first big role.
This is his first
Stevens
thing out of Even Stevens.
Yeah, he was on Even Stevens as Steven. But like
this is his first movie because it says in the credits and introducing Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, no, exactly. So this is his first movie.
He probably was not the one that was drawing in the parents to come see it. No. He was the draw for the kids, but the draw for the parents was the amazing adult cast that they had.
Sigourney Weaver. So we're gonna keep going, but so they show him being arrested, which we don't read about in the book. We hear about it, but like, we don't see the full. He gets arrested. There's a new neighbor who's complaining about all the shoe smells.
Yeah, I liked him.
I liked him. It's really funny. To me, okay. I feel like we've seen this actor before, though.
Let me take a look.
I feel like he was an Avatar: Last Airbender.
He might have been.
Not the Netflix show, but the live action that we saw on our Patreon. Ooh. By the way, follow our Patreon and you can watch us react to M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender, where Ankit and I literally watched the whole movie live and did a live flip the scripts, but it's only on our Patreon.
Steven made me suffer. It was fun.
Oh, we suffered badly. And also, if you follow us 2 weeks ago, there's also a us live reacting to Series of Fortune Events, the Lemony Snicket Jim Carrey version.
Yes, that is also up as of this recording as well. Where I'm looking for him. You keep talking. Okay. I will come back to you.
He has the poster of the baseball player, which is hilarious, which is one of the reasons why they're like, oh, you stole the shoes because you're a fan of the baseball player. And it's one of the reasons he got arrested. Also, Stanley Yelnats II is alive. So one of the differences between the book and the film, Stanley Yelnats II isn't in the book.
No, he is not. But
I love him.
I love him,
the grandfather.
And I'm not mad that he's in it because he takes the role of our narrator.
He does.
He takes the role of our narrator, and he's not like overly in the book.
No, but then
like overly in the film.
No, but he is a really good actor, and I can appreciate it. I just think it's funny having Stanley Yelnats II in the film, where he's not mentioned in the book at all. Then they talk about the curse, and the mother is like way fed up with the curse, which I think is really funny. The curse is, we'll get more into the curse a bit later. So the book starts with so that's the beginning of the film with all that stuff. The book has a different beginning. So the book starts with a backstory of Lake Greenwood, we learn about Stanley getting arrested later. So we just learn about what this town was that we're gonna spend our time in. Um, the book is also the book kind of has two stories. The book is about Stanley, and the book is also about Lake Greenwood, and you kind of see the town evolve and devolve throughout the book.
Yeah.
You cut in and out of Stanley's story and not Stanley's story. Which it works from a book adaptation, and I understand why they did that, what they did in the film adaptation.
Fair
But
enough.
if you like switching off and you like kind of going back and forth, read the book. It's fun. Um,
Before we continue, I found him. It is Shelley Malil, and he is known for the 40-year-old version, where he played Haziz, the
that's where I
Born
know it from.
Supremacy additional crew, Collateral Damage, he played a doctor, and Holes, he plays the nosy landlord.
So I do know him from. Oh, he's the landlord. Oh, okay, I never got that. I just
He's
thought he
the
was the
landlord.
neighbor.
No, he is the landlord.
Got it.
Because they do have a line where like the landlord is threatening to kick us out, and
And he's
we
in
learn
the. Yeah, he's in
we
there.
learn that later that he's the landlord. I think.
Yeah. So he's wearing a hat as he goes to camp, and which is interesting because the red hat is a big, like, if you get the title, if you get the
Mhm.
book, he has a red hat, Stanley on the cover. The thing is, the hat's part of the uniform, so everyone should have a red hat. But because they wanted him to be unique, they give everyone a different kind of hat. So I was
I
okay
think
with
that's
it.
okay.
I was okay with it, but I also would have. I think like the whole the whole town, Green Lake. I don't think they would have let him bring his own hat into the camp.
They probably wouldn't, but I think yeah, they probably wouldn't, but I do think that they would
Yeah.
possibly let him bring it in. The only reason is like they don't stop him from seemingly bring in paper and pencils.
Yeah. So
So,
Mr. Sir is perfect. I just want to say that I think it's done really well. And it's just the actor does a really good job. And great job.
mhm.
So the camp also looks immaculate. It looks exactly like I read in the book, except I feel like there's more buildings than there are in the. It just feels a lot bigger of a camp than it does in the book when you read it from the book's perspective.
I think because when you read it from the book's perspective, you barely touch on the other campers.
It's true. I also think it's interesting that there's. I'll give it one knock though. There is shade in some places where the only shade is supposed to be at in front of Ma's house.
Yeah,
No, not in front of Ma's house. In front of the landlord's house.
in front
Not
of
the
the
landlord. Warden.
warden, the
Warden's
warden's
house.
house.
I also
I
like how the
think
warden has a car and there's a bunch of people cleaning it, and I was like, the warden wouldn't let people touch her car.
no, the warden would make them clean her car.
I don't know. I feel like there was a whole thing about like no one could go near the house, nor the tree or the hammock. I just felt like it was a
Again,
whole
they
thing.
were on special detail to
Special
clean that
detail,
car.
cleaning the car. Yeah.
Cleaning the
Okay.
car, special detail. Here
Um,
is the one thing that I laugh at in the book though, where it says that there's no shade. Because when I looked at the movie, I realized this and I was like, oh, yeah, of course there's shade. It's sun and a building. The building is gonna create natural shade. There's no way around that. That's how sunlight works.
yeah, but I always
And I
felt like the
noticed it.
buildings because because in the book there was one building, right? And it was the one building was where he checked him was Mr. Sir. So Mr. Sir has his own building, right?
No, there was
And
more than one. There, okay, but that's still
the rest of
there's
it
more than
was
one building.
no, but the rest of it was tents because he said it was a lot of tents, and
Sure,
he explains
but
it in the book. There's like two buildings, right? So the mess hall. Okay, I guess there's like three rooms because there's also like the residential fun hall,
yeah,
mess hall, but a bunch of just tents. So they all live in tents. Tents would not create shade, so it does make a little sense.
you do realize that they are all still tents.
No, I know.
Steven, they're not tents still create shade. Steven, do you understand how sunlight works?
No, I'm
When you
saying
take a little water bottle and you stick it in the middle of the
I
street
know
and
how
there's
sunlight
sunlight,
works.
you're gonna get a shadow.
I
That's the
know.
shadow that exists. That's
I'm
what I'm
saying
talking about.
because in the book there were less stuff. The
There isn't less stuff in the
but
book, though. That's what I'm saying. It makes you
but
think that there's less stuff, but there isn't.
but also, Anka, I would say good. I think there's a difference between good shade and bad shade.
Yeah, the only good shade is
It's in
probably
front
by
of
the
the
warden's
warden's
house.
house.
But
Yeah,
that's not what you said. You said shade.
I was getting there.
No, you
Easy.
were not.
So the we meet Dr. Podansky, who I was like, he's a doctor, so that's completely new. That's not in the book at all. Uh, and I think it's funny.
Yep.
Uh,
Say
then
hi to
we
mom.
then we meet all the boys, and I was like, ah, and the boys are great,
And the boys, fantastic.
well cast. Um, so all the food is beans at the camp, which I'm like, that's new. I feel really bad for all of them sharing a tent
Yeah.
because it's beans and onions apparently and bread.
That's all. That's all. We gonna do.
Yeah, so they we cut back to the whole, Stanley getting arrested, Stanley's court case. Clyde Livingston is there. I thought it was really clear. He's like, "You're no fan of mine," and I was like, "Oh, I feel really bad for him."
Yeah. Stanley has to suffer. Woohoo.
Yeah. Uh. Yeah. There's a whole. Then we cut also to a backstory after the whole. We kind of cut to another backstory within the backstory about the pig stealing. No, which is Stanley Yelnats the first, who had
No, it's
who had won
yes.
a bunch of money through the stock market and was traveling and got kidnapped by
He
got
got
robbed by
robbed.
Kiss and Kate Barlow. But the funny thing is, Kiss and Kate Barlow robs him and steals the chest. Now, in the book, I read it as like a suitcase, and now it's a chest in the movie. I think that is a change, but I was okay with it because I think it's also like buried treasure. So I kind of get
It's a
why they did.
change, and I'm perfectly fine with it.
No,
Because I was like,
I'm saying
okay,
it is a change, but I mean,
yeah, yeah.
I think it was also really funny that it was a suitcase, but maybe a suitcase wouldn't have probably lasted that long underground.
Well, he did say it was like a metallic suitcase.
That's true, but it's a question of the chest to suitcase kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Then we get to the first day of digging holes. So Stanley's in line to get holes. Stanley gets a shovel. X-Ray comes over and pushes him down and takes the shovel and is like, "That's my shovel."
Don't touch
And,
his shovel.
and then everyone comes up and tells him, "Don't touch the shovel." It's apparently X-Ray shovel is smaller than everyone else's shovel, and everyone's like, "Smaller shovel, smaller holes." And this is where we get to the rules of the holes.
I do appreciate the guy that just walks up with his sad piece of baloney
Yeah.
and just goes, smaller hole, smaller shovel, smaller hole. And like just is waving his sad piece of baloney. I'm like, yes.
So the way the rules are with the holes is they have to dig one hole a day. Every camper has to dig one hole a day. And they need to be as deep as their shovel and as wide as their shovel. Those are the rules of their holes. Now,
Good rules.
is that easy to do?
No,
No.
that's what builds character.
So they start digging, and the one thing I was like, oh, that's weird. So they in the book they make it very clear that they started digging before the sun rose. By the time they made it to the spot where they had to dig, the sun was already rising, and I was
Yeah.
like, I feel so bad for these guys already.
I was like, I feel bad for them, but also objectively, yeah, it's hard to shoot in the middle of the night.
Well, that was my thought was like, oh, did they just not want to do a night shoot? And they're like,
They
let's just
just
do
didn't
day
want to.
shoots.
They had enough night shoots in this film. They didn't want to add another one.
Maybe that was why I was questioning a little bit, but I was feeling it. So then there's Stanley's being bullied by the other boys, but there's no like backstory of how he was bullied in middle school.
No, he's just
But
bullied.
he's just bullied. Then we go back in time to hear about the no good pig stealing
God, Steven,
great
am I gonna have to do this every single time?
yeah,
Okay, it's the no good. Sorry.
because I like how you say it.
Let me reevaluate
And then he messed up his
back
line,
into my life.
everyone.
I'm
See, he
sorry. I'm
messed up his line.
sorry.
You know,
Hey,
I've cast
hey,
Ankit as an actor, and he's messed up many lines. So
hey. In my defense, I tell all of my students this because like some of them like freak out about messing up a line, and I'm like, hey guys, do you want to know something? I mess up my lines all the time.
oh, I know. The
Like,
amount of times you said something that's flute, and I went, that wasn't Shakespeare.
hey, you would be like, you were close, but that was wrong.
You were close, and then I would make you go back and study that line.
Yeah. For anyone listening that's thinking of hiring me, I do get the lines down. It just
Oh, he
sometimes,
does.
like,
He
yeah.
does. He's fun in rehearsal. Don't not hire him. I can give him a lot of crap because I'm his friend. That's the only reason.
Anyway, so Stanley, and we learn more about his no good, dirty, rotten, pig stealing great great grandfather.
So Elia Yelnats, they still have the same last name because the last name has not changed in years. Elia Yelnats lives in a town and he's in love with this guy's daughter. And he comes up and he's like, "Hey, I want your daughter." He's like, "Well, this guy, he wants my daughter too, and he's offering me a pig for her. So where's your pig?" And I went, "That's fair. He doesn't have a pig.
He doesn't have a pig.
You don't get a girl. You don't got a pig. You don't get a girl."
Look, it seems like a very straightforward transaction back in the day.
So he goes to Madame Zeroni, who is perfectly cast, by the way. Although Madame Zeroni in the book only has one leg, and I didn't know this, but Madame Zeroni in the movie has two.
Yes. Again, I accredit that to
CGI.
Well, no, I accredit that to they probably filmed all of her parts in like 1 or 2 days.
That's true.
And they were like, "You sit for the whole time. We don't need to stick a fake leg on you."
Or they could have just had a blanket to cover and make it look like it.
They did have a blanket on.
No,
her.
I know, but
Like
you
a
could
shawl.
tell she has 2 feet. But
Yeah.
I was just saying
wasn't
they could try to
heartbroken.
hide it a little better to make it look like she only had one. But that's fine. So Madame Zeroni, she has a really funny line. He's like, "Yeah, Morris Menke, he wants me to bring a pig so I can marry his daughter." And she goes, "Morris Menke is a schmuck."
Yeah.
And I died. It was hilarious. Also, that's a very Jewish line. It's very funny.
He's a schmuck.
Yeah. Then she's like, "Okay, you're gonna take my little pig. You're gonna take him up the river. You're gonna sing this song to him, and then he's gonna grow every day until he's bigger, a big pig.
A big pig.
So that way you can get the girl." I thought it was really funny. Well, because the song is supposed to be in Latvian originally in the book. So they skip that and go straight to English translation, which I understand it's a Disney film, so maybe people would have complained if it was Latvian.
I wish that they still left it in, but allowed it to be later.
I agree. So like he sang it Latvian, but then we learn the translation later.
No. I don't mind if he sings it in English now.
Oh.
I'll tell you when we get to it. It'll be in next week's episode. But there's a moment in the film where I thought, if you are going to include the Latvian, this would have been a cool place based on the choices that they made.
Mm-hmm.
Either sing it in Latvian, we learn the translation later, or sing it in Latvian later, or do the thing that they did, and I appreciate that they did this. They just said, "Hi, everything is in English. Just everything is in English."
Yeah.
And that was the choice, and I didn't mind the choice. It would have been nice to hear the Latvian, but I like that they just stayed consistent with whatever their choice was.
So that's where we're going to take our snack break, everyone. So we'll be back after our snack break.
What's up, everyone? It's Stephen Nieman from Flip the Scripts. I hope you're enjoying Holes. Are you agreeing with us right now? Are you disagreeing with us right now? Post in the comment section down below. If you want to support us, please like, subscribe, and share. As a reminder, if we get to 100 subscribers before the end of the year, Ankit and I will be forced to do the Twilight franchise, a franchise we horribly do not want to do. If you want to support us financially, support our editor and surveillance and all of the things we want to do here on Co-op Forge, you can go to Patreon/Co-op Forge to support us financially. We are reforming our tiers as we speak. I hope if you want to meet us in real person or support us in real life, Ankit right now is playing Oliver in a production up in Seattle, and I am directing a show called The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals that'll take place in June. I hope you're enjoying the show. Now, back to the episode.
And we're back. So, we cut back to Stanley, who has now a lot of blisters on his head from digging. As you would, if you're not used to digging a hole that has to be, 5 feet down and 5 feet across?
Yes.
Your hands are going to get blisters as well.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I did appreciate is he does take his hat off and try to use it to protect his hands, which is true in the book as well.
Yeah. He does do that. One thing I want to point out, and ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hear all of these fun facts, go check out our Patreon. But I found 10 things that the author wrote that he didn't know about holes, or 10 things that we might not know about holes. Not that he didn't know about holes, he wrote the book. But 10 things we might not know about holes. And I'm gonna share one of these 10 fun facts. But one of them, just a little teaser, is that you can't actually dig a hole that is 5 feet deep and 5 feet wide with a 5-foot shovel. And he learned this while filming the movie, because if you do that, actors don't have enough room to actually toss the dirt out of the hole.
Yeah, because they were dishing into each other's holes.
But he didn't learn this until they were filming it, when they couldn't physically do it.
That's funny.
And I just thought it was really funny, because until I read that fun fact, I was like, I didn't think about this.
No.
Oh my god.
So we cut back to Elia, the pig stealing grandfather.
Yeah.
And his pig
Is fat
now, and he takes the pig up every day. What they don't explain in the film, what they don't explain is he's supposed to take the pig up one more time, so his pig is bigger than the other pig.
On the last day.
On the last day.
They're supposed to present the pigs in the afternoon. He's supposed to take it up in the morning, but he doesn't.
But he doesn't, because he wants to smell nice to present the pig to the girl that he likes. But he shows up with the pig, who is now the same, because he didn't take it up one more time. It's now the same exact weight as the other pig.
So the dad says, which one would you like to marry? To his daughter. What a progressive father. And
his daughter's like, the pigs are the same. And it's kind of explained in the movie, but also it's a different order of events. She asks eventually. But she has a hard time deciding. She says, I'm going to pick a number, right? 1 through 10.
Between 1 and 10. Yeah.
And whoever's closest gets to marry me. Elliot gets really offended by this. He's like, you can't choose between me and the fat guy over there.
The fat, disgusting guy who is 3 times your age.
Yeah. So he gets offended and leaves. But he forgets, this is true in the book and in the film, he forgets to come back for Madame Zeroni. So the agreement for Madame Zeroni giving him the little pig to take up with the song was after he wins, because he was supposed to take it up one more time, and he would have won if he took it up one more time. Keep in mind, if you follow Madame Zeroni's words to the letter, he would have won.
Mm-hmm.
He would have taken her up to the same river, sing to her as she drank. And she said, if you forget me, your entire family will be cursed.
Forever and ever.
Forever and
For
ever.
all of eternity.
And guess what he did?
He went to America on a boat and realized halfway across the Atlantic Ocean that he forgot to carry her up.
Yep. So, and they were more friendly in the book. I just want to point out they were friends in the book, but in the film they're there. They're okay with each other. But I like the fact that they were more friendly in the book. It is funny.
It was the vibe that I got in the book was a bit more the young kid in the neighborhood and the old retired grandpa in the neighborhood have become unlikely friends.
Yeah, that's what I felt
deal,
like. But in the movie, it's less that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the unlikely grandma whose son has left and like lives in a different town, doesn't see the grandkids much, but is loved and adored by everybody in town. And like, this is just the kid that lives in the neighborhood that helps her out.
Yeah.
And is just a kind kid. That's the vibe that I got in the book. It still felt like they were close in the film, but not like as close. It more
Yeah.
felt like, I do think the film still did a good job of establishing that these two had an earlier relationship and that it wasn't like, hi, they don't know each other at all. Like Elia, even when he's just first complaining to Madame Zeroni, like we just cut to him complaining to Madame Zeroni. So it's just like, okay, like obviously they are semi close because he's just spilling his heart out.
Yeah. So then we come back to Stanley, and he's stuck in his first hole. He's like, "Help, please!"
He can't get out, and it's so good.
I mean, he's shorter than 5 feet. I mean, it'd be really hard to. Not everyone can climb, Ankit.
Huh?
Not everyone can climb like you can.
Yeah, I climb a lot.
Yeah, he does.
I'm a skimpy little guy.
So, now we get to a weird scene. This scene does not exist in the book at all, but it makes sense, and I'm going to say why it makes sense. So, Stanley leaves the shower, and he runs into Mr. Sir with a gun, and he runs into a spotted lizard that tries to kill him. And then all the boys start talking about the spotted lizard in like the next bit, where they talk about, what was blood like, all this.
Yeah.
Stuff. There's a chapter in the book that is all about spotted lizards, mind you. This is it's not about Stanley. It's not about the lake. It is just a chapter about spotted lizards.
And
so it makes sense to take that chapter and just have Mr. Sir shoot a spotted lizard.
Yeah.
But then also have the kids talk about it and say exactly what was in the book. So I'm okay with this change. Change approved.
I like how the change was like, we need to do the exposition dump for the lizards, but I don't have the narrator to do exposition dump on lizards.
Now, a fun fact about the lizards, because I think I watched a little documentary once about this movie.
Oh, there's a documentary? All right, hold on. I'm going into a deep dive. Tell us fun facts.
The Hole's lizards are actually incredibly friendly.
Wait, what?
The ones they use for filming are real.
Oh.
And they're like super friendly. Like the least poisonous lizards you'll ever meet.
That does not surprise me. Okay.
Or it was the behind the scenes of the Hole's movie I watched. I don't know.
It might have been behind the scenes. I think I just found the entire movie on YouTube if anyone is still looking to find the movie.
It's on Disney Plus.
It's also on Disney Plus. Oh, it is not on YouTube. It is someone talking through the Wikipedia page, and it's really funny.
Don't give him views, Ankit. Don't give him views.
I'm not. It's like the embedded thing through like Google. Okay. So like I'm not actually opening YouTube, but I was like, what is this? Why is this 2 hours long?
So we cut to him writing a letter, and now it's like dialogue, over the scene. I like it. It's a good way to get us what's in the letter without, letter scenes. Same in every film. It's a good film cut, good.
Their exposition, we need them. Move on.
Yeah, so he writes a letter to his mom while we also get introduced to the rec room and how the rec room is a lot nicer than it is in the book.
It's a lot more beat up, and I think like that legitimately came down to they didn't give the kids enough time to make it terrible.
I really wish they just said they gave all the kids like a weapon and were like, mess up this room.
I wish what they did is they had a room and then they handed each kid a hammer.
Oh yeah.
Right? Or like a 3-pound, or like, you give them like a little 3-pound sledgehammer, right? And what would have been really fun and just a really fun day on set is every single person on set gets to go in with that 3-pound sledgehammer and take one whack at something.
Yeah. So it is really funny. So then we cut back to more digging. This is Stanley's second day of digging, and he finds a fossil, and he's like, "Oh, do I get the day off because I found a fossil?" And everyone's like, "No, you do not get a day off for a fossil. That's not interesting enough."
Dude, but like, Armpit just being like, "Oh, look at the little fishies."
Yeah, love Armpit. It's funny. So then we cut back to they talk about when the town had a lake and a town, and we get to meet Sam. And I was like, Sam is perfect. I think it's the same guy from Psych, and I really
Yeah,
like that
it's
film.
Dule Hill. I
Yeah.
love Dule Hill. I would love to have a conversation with Dule Hill. He is incredible. I have never seen anything that he is in that I have not liked of his work. Like, I have liked every single character he has played, even when there are other shows that I've watched where I'm like, objectively, and I'm not gonna say which show it is because, again, credit to everyone that has worked on that show and everything. Like, there are shows that he pops up in where I'm like, I've seen this show. The show's okay. The show's fine. It's nothing great. But by far, the best part of the show is me sitting there being like, can Dule Hill just come back on the screen? I'm significantly more interested in his character.
So,
like, yeah, I know I should be interested in these other guys. I just want to know what's happening with him.
That's
like,
fair. So
where is he?
Trading peaches for onions, just like in the book. So he sells onions. He's an onion seller.
Yes. And he's got a donkey named Mary Lou. Oh, she's perfect.
And everyone is in the town, and the warden's grandfather's there. He owns the lake. And it has a motorized boat. And then we cut back to the holes, and X-Ray comes over to Stanley, and he says, "Hey, next time you find something, don't you play. You give me the thing, because I deserve the day off." X-Ray apparently has been there the longest. So he's like, I've never had a day off. So X-Ray's like, you give me the thing.
Yep. Would you like to know another fun fact now that we have officially met Sam and his onions? So remember the guy that has the bald head that he's selling
the onion ointment to? Yeah.
Onion ointment to? That's the author.
That's great.
He plays Mr. Collingwood in the movie.
Yeah.
And like, I appreciate things like this, like how in the first Percy Jackson TV series episode, Rick had like a cameo. His entire cameo was sit in the corner. Good cameo. like, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just hope the Percy Jackson series gets better.
Yeah, I appreciate when like they do still give the author a cameo, but I also appreciate when the author is like, no. I will take the cameo. But by all means, at most, give me a line. like I should not be the ones saying words on this screen. At most, let me say like, yes, sir.
So, then we end up in the lovely rec room, and Stanley falls on top of a guy. And this happens in the book too. And the guy goes to beat him up and is like, stop. Everyone tries to stop him. Zero grabs a pool ball and is ready to fight for him. And I'm like, hey, Zero already.
Hey, Zero's ready to throw some hands. Well, throw some balls.
And then we learn that now Stanley's name is Caveman. So they've nicknamed him. So now that he's nicknamed, he's officially part of the group.
Good job, Stanley. I do like how he's like, no, I don't want to mess with the caveman. And then it's like, I'm caveman? That's better than barf bag.
Yeah, I love Zero's line there. That's good. So we end up, just think about how he got that name is so funny. He probably got a sack lunch on the first day and just threw up into his sack lunch.
Barf bag. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like Zero said, it's better than barf bag.
Exactly. So we cut to everyone talking to Dr. Podansky. About all the problems, and apparently Magnet stole a puppy.
Magnet just wants love.
Magnet does want to work with animals. That is true from the book, but him stealing a puppy is completely new. That was never explained in the book.
Yeah, but I do kind of like him.
I like it. And then Podansky's going around saying who's at fault for everything, and Stanley does reply with, "My good for nothing,
no good, dirty, rotten pig stealing great grandfather."
Thank you, Ankit. So the letter back from then he gets a letter from his mom. It's exactly the same. I don't really need to explain it. Then Zero asks Stanley to teach him how to read because Zero doesn't know how to read. And Stanley's like, no, I'm too tired after doing everything. Stanley runs into Armpit and everyone, and Armpit raises his arm. So this is completely new. And apparently, and everyone goes, no! And Armpit has to put his arms down. So he is called Armpit in the movie, but like in the book as well. But they never give really a reason why he's called Armpit.
I know why.
Oh, you know why?
I know why.
Why? Why?
You'll have to go check out the Patreon to find out. It's in our 10 fun facts.
Check the Patreon out.
We got some fun facts. I got more fun facts, guys. I
So-
read things. I put in effort. Woo!
They're starting to dig again, and there's like a little cloud, a little wisp. It's not even a cloud, it's a wisp. And they're like, please move in front of the sun. Please.
Please, little cloud. Please.
Yeah.
But it keeps toying with them. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do it. No, I'm not. I'm gonna do it. No, I'm not.
Stanley then finds something, an actual something, and he gives it an X-ray. Immediately goes, all right, and he gives it X-ray. And it has the initials KB on it, which no one knows what it means. I think Zigzag says Keith Barthol, or something like that, and everyone's like, "Who's that?" He's like, "He was in my class."
He was in my class.
I thought that was funny. Caveman's a little upset that X-Ray took it because he's like, "You already almost done with your hole. Like, I'm not done. Like, let me finish for the day." And X-Ray's like, "No." But then Stanley convinces X-Ray, "Why don't you just show it tomorrow, and then you get the whole day off?"
Yeah.
And X-Ray's like, "I like how you think, Caveman." Caveman also tries to remember that hole just for later.
Here's the one thing.
They cut a scene in this next bit.
Great. Before we get to that, listeners, just keep this in mind. Because I have a rant coming in part 2.
Uh-oh.
And I'm just going to leave it at that. But just keep this in mind.
They cut a scene that's in the book. So these episodes might be a little longer than normal, by the way, just because the movie's 2 hours. So we might go a little longer than normal. So they cut a scene that's in the book. So Stanley goes up to X-Ray the next day in the mess hall at breakfast, and he tries to talk to him before, he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Do you still have the thing?" And X-Ray's like, "Shut up." And he's like, "Oh, is X-Ray mad at me?" Like, he thinks X-Ray's mad at me. Apparently, the entire camp thinks they're bugged and there's cameras everywhere.
Yep.
Now, that is said in the movie, but the beginning scene where he runs up to X-Ray,
we just learned that earlier in the movie than we do in
the book. The warden is perfect. So, then when water's happening during the day of the holes, X-Ray says he found it in a hole that's not actually the hole that was founded. Mr. Sir gets the warden out. Warden is played by Sigourney Weaver, Ghostbusters lady herself.
Wait, she's in Ghostbusters? I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
You haven't seen the original Ghostbusters?
I haven't seen any Ghostbusters. I don't actually know what it's about.
Add it to the list.
I'm assuming it has to do about ghosts?
Add it to the list.
And busting and vacuums?
Add it to the list.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm so mad at you right now that you don't know Ghostbusters.
Who do you call? Ghostbusters. I know that bit. I know the theme song.
Okay. So, they start digging a big trench and hope to find some. Well, Sigourney Weaver's also in Alien.
Dude, Sigourney Weaver is Sigourney Weaver, and she is incredible.
Everything.
And has been in everything. You want me to give you a quick discography of Sigourney Weaver?
Now we'll talk about it next episode.
She's nominated for 3 Oscars. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. So they start digging a big trench and hope to find something. They don't find anything. Spoiler alert. We then learn about the cameras and mics, and they say Zigzag suffers from paranoia, which I'm like, oh, okay, that's funny. Then we cut to a rainy day in the town, and I'm like, wow, this is the town where the camp is, and now it's raining, but it doesn't rain in the town anymore. Miss Catherine ends the school day early because the roof is leaking. Sam then offers to fix the roof for Peaches, and we have a few scenes where Sam keeps showing up at the school going, "I can fix that." Same thing happens in the book where he fixes the school and makes it the most beautiful school in all of the world.
Everyone's happy. Everyone's proud. Woohoo!
Adult education class is all men. I thought this was really funny. I just thought, because in the book, I think it's more than just the men, but I think it's hilarious. It's all men.
No, it is not.
Is it all men in the book too?
At night, they never mention a woman being in the class.
I swear they did. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it's all men in the adult education class.
I don't think in the adult education class they specifically say that there is a
Fair. Woman. Mr. Walker being a dick is good. I think he's well cast, the Grandpa Walker.
Oh yeah. Does well.
Then we cut to the next day of digging in the trenches. Armpit tries to give her a broken knob. That's new. It's not in the book at all. But then Armpit loses his shower privileges for 3 days, and everyone goes, "Oh no!"
I do love the line going, "You're sleeping outside."
Yeah, literally.
One of the kids is just like, "We ain't dealing with this today."
Armpit really wanted a day off.
Yeah.
So Sam fixes up the schoolhouse and falls in love with Catherine, keeps coming back and forth between the two stories.
Yeah.
Then Sam and Catherine kiss inside the school. But in the book, they kiss by the lake.
In the book, they kiss by his onion cart.
Yeah, which is by the lake.
Yeah.
But it's easier for them to be seen, obviously, outside. They're now kiss is inside. Little change. They're still seen because Mr. Walker happened to be walking by. Walker's not the one who spotted them kissing in the book.
It's some woman in the book.
But some woman who told Mr. Walker because she's in love with Mr. Walker. It all works out.
It all works out. Yeah. It's okay. They still get caught. This still happens.
So Sam, they couldn't find anything. So they cut back to the Holes world. They couldn't find anything, and the warden's like upset. She's like, "How can we not find anything?" And she's all mad now, and
I do like how in one of these scenes where they're all like working together, right?
Yeah.
Podansky and Mr. Sir are talking, and the warden just goes, "If you can't get them to shovel any faster, you guys can join them." And then Mr. Sir just goes off on, "This is not a Girl Scout camp. Take faster. Let's go. Move, you little maggots." And just the immediate switch from John Voight. Just incredible.
Yeah, it's good. So we cut back to the town, and everyone's on the lookout for Sam and Catherine. They're burning down the school, and Catherine goes to the sheriff. She's like, help, sheriff. And the sheriff's like,
"I'm drunk. Give me a kiss."
Yeah. So the sheriff is like, no. This all happens in the book, by the way. This is all book accurate. Although in the book it doesn't cut back and forth between the Holes and the story. Like
it does,
but not as drastic. So like once you start the chapter on like when you're back in time,
it'll only shift on a chapter break.
That's exactly what I mean. Like it'll shift on chapter breaks where like to me it's a little less whiplashy. To some people it might be a little whiplashy to switch the two stories so fast.
I think also the way that we are describing it, we are making it seem like it is much faster than it actually is.
True.
Because when we're describing it, we're not necessarily saying every single like how long each scene is.
No.
But like the scenes are like 2-3 minutes in between going back, or like sometimes even like 5. Like they are like good chunk scenes. So like we got to keep in mind. I don't know. I never felt like it was whiplashy, and I thought it was like interspliced at the right moments to tell us the story.
The sheriff, they cut some language from the sheriff. They did. In the movie, he says, "Onion farmer, you kissed that other farmer. You should kiss me." And they say how it's illegal for him to kiss, and they kissed each other, and it's illegal.
It's illegal for him to kiss her, not illegal for her to kiss him.
Exactly. But the language they use in the book specifically is, of course, African American. They use the term black because back then it made sense in the book storytelling. I understand.
Didn't they use the N-word in the book?
I think they used
the N-word in the book.
Now, I understand the cut. I understand needy. I don't know. I thought it was the N-word, but then I didn't think it was the N-word. I thought it was. But yes, they used the term in the book that they cut in the movie. Now that's a really interesting conversation of like, we're in a different era, 1998 compared to 2003. Also, this is a Disney film.
I think the cut in the language is okay.
No, I'm not complaining.
Because I think the film still does a very good job of keeping the tension of the racial issues without using the N-word.
I just know as a kid, I never understood it until I now watched it as an adult, where I'm like, oh, that makes so much more sense.
That's what they meant, right? Like, and so that's why I think, like, even in a book, like, people are like, oh, we got to get it out of the books and stuff. I'm like, nah, you got to keep it. Because, like, I didn't understand it as a kid, but I understood it was mean.
I think there's something about, like, learning history, and we have to learn we have to learn about history, or we're doomed to repeat it, right?
Exactly. And, You
I
know,
think
we learned that, and this was the first time that I vividly remember hearing about the N-word was
mm,
with this book. And I remembered my teacher talking about it and being like, all right, this is not a word that we are allowed to use. Like, this is why it's derogatory, and this is why this line is so
it's the same why we
volatile.
read To Kill a Mockingbird in high school,
Yeah.
which is that's a great book. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I still wanna direct the play one day. That'd be really fun.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's great. It's a great play. Um, so going back, so she runs away from the sheriff. She goes to see Sam. Sam is in the river riding his boat to the onion patch. And originally they run into each other in the book, and like she tells him to run away, but they cut that in the.
They go in his rowboat together in the book.
They do. She's in the boat, isn't she?
She's in
Yeah,
the boat,
she's in the boat.
but she's
Yeah,
not in the movie, and that's fine.
yeah. She's like Sam, and as the motorboat, the only motorboat, of course, owned by the warden, the Walkers, is in the river, and then shoots Sam in the river, and Sam dies.
And that's where we're ending this episode.
And Sam is dead. Ah! And that is the end of Holes Part 1. Come back next week
Woo!
for Holes Part 2.
It's gonna be a good time. As I promised, I have a rant coming up, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be
Uh-oh.
fun. It's my
Uh-oh.
one complaint about this story.
Great. So that is the end of the. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Hope you're enjoying it. We're gonna be rating the book next week as well, rating the book and the movie. So we hope you enjoy it. We'll see you later. Bye now.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Flip the Scripts. Flip the Scripts is created, hosted, and produced by Ankit Madhira and Stephen Nieman. Our editor is Ant Cervellin. The art is by Shakti Madhira, and the music is by Sebastian Holich. If you would like to support the show, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/co-op so that's patreon.com/co_op_forge. Sign up for any of the tiers and you get access to various types of bonus content, and it really does help us out a lot of not being in the red while making these episodes for you all. If you want to help out the show in a non-monetary way, that is great as well. You can talk about us on social media. Follow us on social media at co-op_forge, co_opforge on all the various social media platforms. And you can also follow the show directly, Flip the Scripts Pod on Instagram. Be sure to talk about us on social media. It helps us out a lot. Thank you to anyone who has done this already or will do this in the future. Last but not least, if you still want to help out the show, word of mouth is a great way to help support the show and grow the show. Tell a friend, tell a family member about the show. There are two guys and they read books and then they go in, they watch the movie, they watch the TV show, they figure out, is it a faithful adaptation or is it just a fun movie but maybe not a faithful adaptation? That's also a possibility. If it's a show that you think they might enjoy, please do recommend it to them. It helps us out a lot. But we are just really thankful that you have tuned in for this episode of Flip the Scripts, and we hope you join us next week for even more tomfoolery. And until then, we'll see y'all later. Bye.